Namaskar, Namaste, Naya here, and today I will be breaking down Sun Salutation A. So let's begin. Let's start with a warm-up at the back of the mat, coming into Child's Pose, Balasana. The knees are separated, big toes touch, arms extended, third eye down. Begin to tap into the quality of your inhale and your exhale, bringing awareness to your natural breath. Now, when practicing Sun Salutation, we also practice the pranayama of Ujjayi breathing. Ujjayi breath is an inhale and exhale through the nasal cavity that has a slight constriction of the back of the throat. It sounds like ocean waves crashing the shore. And on your next Ujjayi inhale, shift forward to tabletop. In your tabletop, dial the fingertips towards the knees, wrist face forward for a wrist stretch, since in a Sun Salutation, we do a lot on our hands. Rocking forward and back. Continue with your Ujjayi breathing, in through the nose, out through the nose. That pranayama translates to breath control. So controlling the inhale and controlling the expiration. Inhalation and exhalation here. And dial the fingertips out, point the wrist towards each other, rock side to side. From here, flip the palms. So palms face up, point the fingertips towards each other, palms facing up towards the chest, towards the ceiling. Roll your thumbs out, wiggle your fingers. Make sure that the wrists are below the shoulders and knees under the hips. And bring your hands back to neutral, tabletop position. Now let's get into a Cobra before we go into the upward facing dog that the Sun Salutation A contains. So shift forward, come all the way down to the belly. Fingertips in line with your nipple line, feet together, third eye down. Now if you have a tender lower back, separate your feet hips distance. Exhale and inhale, let's elevate. Elevate head, shoulders, pressing into the hip bones, firing up your thigh muscles. Key is to press the pubic bone down, kneecaps up, contract the backside body, but also bring the elbows in close and tight to the rib cage. Notice your neck. Bring your chin closer to the throat to elongate the back of the cervical spine. One more breath here. And release all the way down. Exhale fully. Inhale, elevate into baby cobra. Lift once again. Elevate the palms off the ground. That's all your back strength here. Elevate, breathe, press into the tops of the feet. The back tops of the feet are down, melting, rooting into your mat. And release all the way down. Last one, maybe shake it out. Exhale, find stillness. Inhale, baby cobra lift. Really strengthening our backs here. Strengthening the muscles around the backs. Strengthening the muscles around the spine. And release all the way down. Push into a child's pose. Option, you could keep your child's pose with knees together, arms by your side, point the fingertips towards the back of the room, palms face up, or knees separated like we did in the very beginning. Take one more breath here. Extend the arms forward, back to tabletop position. From your tabletop, knees under the hips, wrists under the shoulders. Your hands are hips distance apart or shoulder distance apart. So not too wide, not too narrow, everything in awareness of alignment for your body. Inhale, drop the belly down, open heart space, and exhale, round. Inhale, drop the belly towards the mat. Maybe tuck the toes, getting into that foot health, tailbone up, chest through the arms. And as you exhale, round and curl. Bring the thoracic spine up towards the ceiling. Push the ground away from you. Relax the head. Let's do one more set of cat and cows. Inhale, drop the belly into your cow pose. And as you exhale, round the spine. And bring it back to neutral tabletop position. Extend the left leg back, toes down. Extend the other leg back, toes down. High plank pose. In your high plank, stay strong through the thigh muscles. Slightly puff up the upper back. Navel in. And then turn this into a downward facing dog, that upside down V shape. Down dog, walk it out, straighten one leg, bend the other, and vice versa. And then finding stillness. Shift forward to high plank and hold. Shift back to down dog. Ideally without moving hands or feet, just shift forward. Notice this transition between these two poses and shift back. One more time, shift forward, high plank position. Navel in, contract your abs, keep pushing. Press into all 10 fingertips. Hand activation. Downward facing dog, push back. The heels do not have to touch the ground due to tension or compression. So that could be due to bone or simply tightness. One more breath here. And begin to walk your feet to meet your hands at the very top of the mat. Walk your feet to meet your hands. Once you arrive, hang heavy, hold on to opposite elbows and relax your head. Rock a little side to side here. And release the arms. Inhale to rise, roll it up to standing. Rolling it up to standing, arms by your side. All right, so let's start with Surya Namaskar A. We come to the top of the mat standing in Tadasana, mountain pose. Traditionally, big toes touch, heels are right behind the feet, the toes. Heels are right behind the toes. And the arms are by your side. Fire up the thigh muscles, so kneecaps up. Draw the tailbone slightly downward. Beautiful. Engage the pelvic floor, the lower abdominal muscles. So this is a very active pose when we're standing at the top of the mat. Now, having the feet together, it becomes more of a balancing posture. But if you don't feel rooted, grounded in this position, an option to modify would be to separate the feet, hips distance. Now, the feet, the ankles right below the hip bones, the heels. Notice if they're in, notice if they're out. You want the heels to be right behind the toes, as I mentioned. So find your foot position. That's your foundation. Finding the right foot position for your body here. And this is known as Tadasana, mountain pose. So in mountain pose, notice your foundation, pressing into all 10 toes, pressing into the outside of the heels, elevate the kneecaps, draw the tailbone slightly down, contract your abdominal muscles, shoulders over the hips, arms by your side. The palms may face forward or they may face in. That's a choice as well. I've seen them both ways. And shoulders are relaxed. Crown of the head reaching up towards the ceiling. Very active here. Exhale fully. Inhale, arms reach up. And as the arms reach up, maintain the activation of the abdominal muscles. So notice if when we reach the arms up, there was a curvature that happened, a back bend. Draw the tailbone down, contract the abs, and keep the arms elevated. Now, if you have tight shoulders, you could open the arms a little wider. Otherwise, try to maintain the biceps by the ears as we bring the arm bones back, framing the ears here. So this is upward handstand, Urdhva Hastasana. And as we exhale, forward fold, bend your knees, hinge from the waist, arms release all the way down, and we could swan dive down. So this is also optional. Inhale, lengthen halfway. So hands onto the shins, straighten arms and back. Try to find that length. Now, I include the neck as a part of the spine here. So bring the chin into the neck space. So the crown of the head is completely reaching forward. And as we exhale, forward bend. Root your palms into the mat, fingertips in line with the toes. Bend your knees. Keep the heels of the hands down. Bend your knees, and left foot takes a big step back. And right foot follows. Lower the knees down. The inside of the elbows point forward, so we could do this tricep push-up. Untuck the toes, inside of the elbows forward, shift a little forward, bend the elbows. The elbows are grazing, they're to the outside of the rib cage here. Come all the way down to the belly. Fingertips in line with your nipple line. Inhale, baby cobra. And exhale, release all the way down. Press into the knees. Bring yourself back up into that modified tabletop here. High plank position and downward facing dog. So this is a modified sun salutation A, making this sequence of poses more accessible for our bodies. Traditionally, 5 breaths here. When ready, walk your feet to meet your hands at the very top of the mat. Inhale, lengthen arms and back, maybe hands to shins. And exhale, forward fold. Reverse the swan dive, arms reach out. Inhale to rise, bend the knees, straight spine. Inhale, elevate the upper body, arms reach up, Urdhva Hastasana, and then arms by your side, Tadasana, mountain pose. Beautiful. Let's continue. Inhale, arms reach up, Urdhva Hastasana. As we exhale, another way to come down is through midline, palms together overhead. Forward fold, bring the palms in front of the heart space. As we fold here, straight spine, micro bend in the knees, come all the way down. Release the hands down. Inhale, lengthen halfway, hands to shins, or you could keep the fingertips down onto the mat. Strong legs, straight arms, lengthen the back. Exhale, forward fold, fingertips in line with the toes. Right foot takes a big step back, left foot follows. High plank position. Lower the knees down. Let's go for that tricep push-up into upward facing dog this time, as opposed to baby cobra. Bend the elbows close and in, tight to the rib cage. Strong core to upward facing dog, extend the arms, untuck the toes, press into the tops of the feet. Beautiful. And your upward facing dog, shoulders are away from the ears, pressing into the ground. Press the tops of the feet down. Fire up the thighs so much that maybe the kneecaps are elevated. Maybe even the thighs are elevated. Puff up the chest. One more breath. And downward facing dog, press it back. Continue with your Ujjayi breathing here. Traditionally 5 breaths. Downward facing dog. If you have tight hamstrings, bend your knees. Try to get the stomach closer to your thighs without compromising the shoulders. You want to try to keep and maintain a strong line from the wrists to shoulders, shoulders to hips, as opposed to dipping very, very low, more of a shoulder stretch here. We want to strengthen. And walk your feet to meet your hands at the very top of the mat. Once you arrive, inhale, lengthen halfway. And exhale, forward fold. Palms together in front of the heart space. Inhale, elevate the upper body to rise. Arms reach up, Urdhva Hastasana. And arms by your side. Tadasana, mountain pose. All right, let's continue. Inhale, arms reach up. As we exhale, forward fold. So choose one, swan dive, or go down through midline. Once you arrive into your forward fold, Uttanasana, inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold, find a high plank position. From your high plank position, you may lower the knees down or keep the knees elevated and enter your tricep push-up here. Shifting forward, tricep push-up to upward facing dog to downward facing dog, pressing it back. Keep and maintain the quality breathing here. Ujjayi breathing, that's known as the victorious breath. That is what Ujjayi stands for, victorious breathing. Feel the strength of your body. Notice the quality of your thoughts. Strengthen through the legs. Modify this downward facing dog if needed. And from here, walk your feet to meet your hands at the very top of the mat. Once you arrive, inhale, lengthen halfway. And exhale, forward fold. Reverse the swan dive or come through to midline. Inhale to rise. Arms reach up, Urdhva Hastasana, and as we exhale, Tadasana, mountain pose. Beautiful. Now, with a little more fluidity, remembering your options of lowering the knees down for the tricep push-up. Maybe you want to stick with your Cobra pose, or you want to do that upward facing dog. More traditional is upward facing dog here. So let's begin. Inhale, arms reach up, Urdhva Hastasana. As we exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. As we exhale, high plank position, Chaturanga Dandasana. Bend the elbows to upward facing dog, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. To downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Continue with your breath here. 5 breaths. And once you're done with your 5th, at the exhale, walk or big step forward, landing in a forward fold. Inhale to lengthen halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. And exhale, Tadasana. One more time, inhale, arms reach up, Urdhva Hastasana. As we exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. As we exhale, high plank position, Chaturanga Dandasana. Upward facing dog, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. To Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. As we transition through high plank to up dog, we have the option of untucking and retucking of the toes, or you can roll over the toes. So it just depends on the feet and toes and how that feels for you. Traditionally, it's more of rolling over the feet, over the toes. Strengthen through the arms in your downward facing dog. Kneecaps up. Drive the hips a little higher. Shift some of the weight towards the legs. And then for the hands, the weights should be light on the wrists. So in your downward facing dog, you should be able to elevate the heels of the hands off the ground. You should be able to elevate the wrists. So try that a few times, elevating the wrists and bringing them back down. Elevate and bring them down. All right, walk your feet or big step forward. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Urdhva Hastasana, come all the way to standing, arms reach up. And arms by your side, mountain pose. Beautiful. One more. And this time we'll do it all in Sanskrit. So Tadasana. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Five breaths here. When you exhale and you're done, Uttanasana at the top. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana fold. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. And exhale, Tadasana. Beautiful. Now let's come to a seated position. And as you come into your seated position, Sukhasana, cross-legged, easy pose, bring your hands onto your knees and then flip the palms to face up. Bring your pointer fingers to your thumbs and close your eyes. Taking in this information, knowing your options, your modifications, being able to work with your body. Let's take 3 more natural breaths, releasing the Ujjayi breathing now, releasing that victorious breath and tapping into diaphragmatic breathing in through the nose, expand the belly, and out through the nose, bring the belly to the spine. Bring your hands together. Anjali Mudra, prayer hands, sealing the left, the right, the masculine, the feminine, the light, the dark, the sun, the moon, and here we find balance. I want to thank you for practicing with me. I wish you a beautiful rest of your day. Many blessings.